I am joined now by a Jacksonville poet who is celebrating the soon-to-come release of her first full-length book of poetry. She's also going to be doing a reading at the Lynx in Gainesville. Here to tell us about it is Nicole Zwolinski. She is also a featured writer at the at the local author festival, which is tomorrow. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah. That I have the Lynx information here. So it's the Lynx Local Author Festival tomorrow, December 6th, from 10 to 3 p.m. And they are located downtown Gainesville on Main Street.
And that, of course, is Lauren Groff's bookstore,
Yes.
which we've spoken to her before on this program, and she is an extraordinary author and really has a mission with the Lynx of trying to nurture and encourage local writers, local authors, and also just has a pretty strong stance on book availability and pushing back on book bans. And so she's been, a voice for the literary community here in Florida. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing there at the festival.
I am so thrilled to be a part of it. I first read one of Lauren's books it was her first book in 2008 when I lived in Minneapolis, and we had a little book club. And so it's so surreal to know that I'm going to be there at her bookstore and be a featured local author. So there's going to be 24 local authors who will be having tables outside of the bookstore, and we'll be selling our books, and there's going to be an open mic. So I'll have 15 minutes where I will be talking about my upcoming book. I have a couple chapbooks available, and I'm going to read some poetry and just really talk about Motherhead, my new book that's coming up.
And tell us about Motherhead. First of all, what are the roots of that name, Motherhead? Where does that come from?
I love this. This is my favorite part. So, when you are pregnant, you tend to get some brain fog afterwards, and you can't remember words. And then also then sliding into perimenopause, you kind of experience that same thing. So it was a mashup of mom brain and brain fog, and out came Motherhead. And so that's one of the poems in the book is about that. And that's what I try to talk about, the things that people don't really talk about being a mom, like the hard, icky stuff. I want to talk about that and make sure that people feel less isolated and alone. I think I went through a lot of things as a new mom, like breastfeeding, for example. I desperately wanted to breastfeed, and the Breast is Best campaign was a huge thing, but I physically could not produce enough milk. And then there were moms online just saying, "Oh, just keep trying, it'll work." It doesn't work like that. Sometimes your body doesn't produce, and you do need to supplement. And there are so many restrictions about being able to even do that, even if you can produce enough milk.
And there's so many emotions and pressures around that it really can feel overwhelming for a new mom, right?
Yes. And I think that there's so many different components of motherhood that we don't talk about, and we gloss over and make it seem all joyful and pretty and lovely. And while it is that, it also can be extremely overwhelming.
And so you have also created a Substack where you encourage people to kind of submit stories, thoughts, concerns, questions even that they have about this period of life.
And it's more active on Instagram right now. So I do have a Substack too, but the Instagram is a little bit more an easier way to relay that. So I have images of stories or advice people have submitted of what they experienced, and then they are able to have their name attributed to it, or it can be anonymous, and then I label it anonymom because we're all moms here, and it's nice to kind of throw what we're going through out there. And I've had a lot of feedback from women who are like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. This one of the posts was pregnancy was not enjoyable for me, and some people love being pregnant." And this woman felt very seen, and she felt this pressure to have this beautiful, lovely pregnancy. And some people are just vomiting every day, and it's not always a pretty sight. And
I think it is reassuring to hear different perspectives too. I think my own OBGYN early on told me she didn't like kids. She loved teenagers older than 12. She just really didn't like babies. I mean, even though she was an obstetrician and that was her work. And so, people have very different feelings about motherhood and all of the different stages of it. So it's
Right.
interesting to explore. And so for folks who are interested in attending this, as you said, you've got 15 minutes to do your reading, and this
Mhm.
is at the Lynx in Gainesville. What do you know? What time your availability is?
I'm going to be sitting at a table from 10 to 3. So I'll be talking to people that whole day. I
Okay.
have a table, I have goodies, I have bookmarks that I'm giving away to promote my book. I'll have candy and little fun poetry games that we can play. But I will be reading at 11 for
Okay.
15 minutes.
All right.
So
Well, congrats on the book. I know that it publishes this summer, the full book, Motherhead. But Nicole Zwolinski, it's a pleasure to meet you, and good luck at the event tomorrow.
thank you so much.